Did you know that Owen Hart fell approximately 100 feet during a live pay-per-view event? That's roughly the height of a 10-story building. This shocking statistic highlights the extreme dangers wrestlers face and the need for stringent safety measures in the industry. Owen's fall wasn't just a personal tragedy. It was a wake-up call for an entire profession. Owen Hart's story began long before that fateful night. Born into the legendary Hart wrestling family, he seemed destined for greatness from the start. His natural talent was evident early on as he combined technical skill with high-flying acrobatics in a way few others could match. In the WWF, Owen first made his mark as the Blue Blazer, a character that showcased his comedic flair and athletic prowess. However, his light-hearted persona belied the darker turn his career would take. Despite his rising stardom and potential to become one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, Owen harbored a desire to retire early and prioritize his family. This tension between personal values and professional demands would shape Owen's career. As we'll see, it set the stage for challenges that would ultimately lead to that tragic night in Kansas City. In November 1997, the wrestling world was... This seismic shift didn't just change the landscape of professional wrestling. It dramatically altered Owen Hart's position within the company. Owen found himself in a precarious situation. On one hand, his loyalty to his brother pulled him towards leaving the WWF. On the other, the company encouraged him to stay, dangling the promise of a promising future. This internal conflict weighed heavily on Owen, a man known for his strong family values and dedication to the craft of wrestling. As Owen grappled with this decision, the WWF was undergoing a transformation of its own. The company began producing more controversial and edgy television, moving away from the traditional wrestling narratives that had defined it for years. This new direction, dubbed the Attitude Era, embraced crude humor, sexual content, and more violent storylines. For Owen, a wrestler who had built his career on technical skill and family-friendly entertainment, this shift created significant tension. He found himself increasingly uncomfortable with the content he was expected to perform. In one notable instance, Owen refused to participate in a proposed storyline involving an affair with his friend, Jeff Jarrett's manager. This decision, while true to his values, put him at odds with the company's creative direction. The clash between Owen's traditional wrestling style and the WWF's new focus became more pronounced with each passing day. Owen was a purist who valued the artistry of wrestling, the technical moves, the storytelling in the ring, the clean competition. However, the company was now prioritizing shock value and spectacle over in-ring prowess. This growing divide raised questions about Owen's future in the industry. Would he be able to adapt to this new era of wrestling? Or would his principles force him out of the spotlight? This tension was palpable, and fans began to wonder how long Owen could continue in this changing landscape. Despite the professional risks, Owen made a decision that would define the latter part of his career. He chose to stay true to his values, refusing to compromise his integrity for the sake of shock value or cheap heat. This choice reflected the depth of Owen's character and his unwavering commitment to his personal beliefs. However, Owen's decision to stick to his principles came at a cost. As the WWF continued to push boundaries, Owen found himself increasingly sidelined. The company's focus on more controversial characters and storylines meant that Owen's clean-cut image and family-friendly performances were often overlooked. Yet Owen persevered. He continued to deliver outstanding performances in the ring, earning respect from his peers and adoration from fans who appreciated his technical skills and sportsmanship. His dedication to his craft never wavered, even as the industry changed around him. Owen's stunts also highlighted a broader issue within the wrestling industry: the balance between entertainment and ethics. As wrestling pushed into more controversial territory, it raised questions about the responsibility of performers and promoters. Owen's refusal to compromise his values served as a reminder that there were still lines some wrestlers wouldn't cross, no matter the potential career benefits. This period of Owen's career demonstrated his strength of character, but it also foreshadowed the challenges that lay ahead. His commitment to his values and his family put him at odds with an industry that was rapidly changing. This conflict would ultimately contribute to the circumstances that led to that fateful night in Kansas City. On May 23, 1999, the Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri, buzzed with anticipation. Thousands of wrestling fans had gathered for the WWF's Over the Edge pay-per-view event, eager to witness their favorite superstars in action. Little did they know that this night would forever change the landscape of professional wrestling. As the event approached, Owen Hart prepared for his entrance as the Blue Blazer, a superhero-like character that had become his latest gimmick. The plan was for Owen to make a dramatic descent from the arena's rafters, a stunt designed to captivate the audience and showcase the WWF's commitment to spectacle. However, behind the scenes, there was tension. Owen, known for his fear of heights, had expressed reservations about the stunt. His colleagues were aware of his discomfort, yet the show's producers insisted on proceeding. The pressure to perform, to maintain his position in the company, weighed heavily on Owen's shoulders. The stunt itself was fraught with risk. Owen was to be lowered from a height of approximately 100 feet, equivalent to a 10-story building. The mechanism for his descent relied on a single snap shackle, a device designed for marine use rather than human stunts. This choice of equipment would later be scrutinized and criticized for its inadequacy in ensuring human safety. As the moment for Owen's entrance approached, the atmosphere in the arena shifted. The lights dimmed, and the crowd's excitement grew palpable. They expected to see the Blue Blazer swoop down from above, a moment of theatrical magic in the midst of the wrestling spectacle. What happened next occurred in a matter of seconds, but its impact would last for decades. As Owen began his descent, something went terribly wrong. The harness malfunctioned, releasing under minimal pressure. In an instant, Owen Hart plummeted from the rafters. One witness later recounted, "I just caught a glimpse of something falling. It was a fleeting moment that would be seared into the memories of all present."
Owen Hart has tragically died from that accident here tonight.
Owen fell nearly 100 feet, narrowly missing referee Jim Coderis before crashing into the ring. The impact was devastating. Chaos erupted as medical personnel rushed to Owen's aid. The live audience, initially unaware of the severity of the situation, watched in confusion as the ring was cleared and paramedics worked frantically. In a cruel twist of fate, the pay-per-view broadcast had cut to a pre-taped video package just before Owen's fall. Viewers at home were spared the sight of the accident, but they soon sensed that something had gone horribly wrong. As the gravity of the situation became clear, WWF officials faced an unthinkable decision. Despite the tragedy that had just unfolded, they chose to continue the event. This decision would become a source of controversy and outrage in the years to come. It fell to commentator Jim Ross to deliver the devastating news to the television audience. His voice heavy with emotion, Ross stated, "Tragedy befell the World Wrestling Federation and all of us. Owen Hart has died." The words hung in the air, a stark contrast to the usual excitement and bravado of wrestling commentary. The decision to proceed with the event after Owen's death raised serious ethical questions. How could the show go on when a performer had just lost his life in that very ring? The wrestling community and fans alike grappled with the appropriateness of continuing to entertain in the wake of such a tragedy. This moment marked a turning point, not just for the WWF, but for the entire professional wrestling industry. It forced a reckoning with the dangers inherent in the pursuit of spectacle and the responsibility of promoters to ensure the safety of their performers. The news of Owen Hart's death sent shockwaves through the wrestling world. Fans and colleagues alike were left reeling, struggling to comprehend the sudden loss of a beloved performer. In the days that followed, an outpouring of grief swept across the industry. Wrestlers, both friends and rivals, shared stories of Owen's kindness, his pranks, and his unwavering dedication to his craft. The tragedy struck at the heart of the wrestling community, forcing many to confront the harsh realities of their profession. Owen's death wasn't just a personal loss. It was a stark reminder of the risk performers faced in pursuit of entertainment. The image of the jovial, high-flying wrestler contrasted sharply with the somber mood that now permeated the industry. As the initial shock subsided, attention turned to the circumstances surrounding Owen's fatal accident. Questions arose about the safety measures in place, the decision-making process behind such dangerous stunts, and the overall culture of risk-taking in professional wrestling. The WWF found itself under intense scrutiny, facing criticism from both inside and outside the industry. In the midst of this turmoil, Owen's widow, Martha Hart, emerged as a powerful voice for change and accountability. Determined to seek justice for her husband, Martha filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the WWF. This legal battle would become a defining chapter in the aftermath of Owen's death, pitting a grieving widow against a corporate giant. The lawsuit brought to light numerous safety concerns and questionable practices within the wrestling industry. Martha's legal team argued that the WWF had prioritized spectacle over safety, using equipment unsuitable for human stunts and failing to provide adequate protection for its performers. The case forced the wrestling world to confront its own shortcomings and the potential consequences of pushing the boundaries of entertainment. By the end of 1999, the lawsuit was settled for approximately $18 million. However, for Martha, the fight was never about financial gain. She sought accountability and systemic change, hoping to prevent similar tragedies in the future. This settlement marked a significant moment in wrestling history, signaling a shift towards greater emphasis on performer safety. Yet Martha's pursuit of justice came at a personal cost. She faced backlash from some of Owen's family members who supported the WWF and distanced themselves from her efforts. This family divide added another layer of complexity to an already emotionally charged situation, highlighting the deep-rooted loyalties and conflicts within the wrestling world. Despite these challenges, Martha remained committed to honoring Owen's memory in a meaningful way. She established the Owen Hart Foundation, an organization dedicated to helping those in need. The foundation's work in areas such as education and housing assistance became a living testament to Owen's generosity and compassion, extending his legacy far beyond the wrestling ring. The foundation's efforts stood in stark contrast to the WWE's attempts to memorialize Owen. Martha consistently refused to allow Owen's induction into the WWE Hall of Fame, believing that honoring him alongside the company she held responsible for his death would be inappropriate. This stance further underscored the complex relationship between personal grief, corporate interests, and the preservation of a wrestler's legacy. Owen Hart's tragic death became a catalyst for change in the wrestling industry. In its wake, there was an increased focus on safety protocols and accountability. Wrestling promotions, not just the WWF, were forced to re-evaluate their practices and prioritize the well-being of their performers. The era of dangerous stunts for the sake of spectacle began to wane, replaced by a more cautious approach to risk management. The impact of Owen's death extended beyond safety measures. It sparked important conversations about the ethics of entertainment and the responsibility of corporations to their employees. Wrestlers, fans, and industry insiders alike began to question the culture of sacrifice that had long been a part of professional wrestling. The idea that performers should be willing to risk everything for the show was no longer accepted without scrutiny. Owen Hart's tragic story serves as a sobering reminder of the high stakes in professional wrestling. His journey highlights the critical importance of integrity, safety, and family in an industry often driven by spectacle and profit. The aftermath of his death forced the wrestling world to confront difficult questions. At what point does entertainment become unethical? How far should performers go to please an audience? And most importantly, what responsibility do corporations have to protect their employees? Owen's legacy continues to shape wrestling today. His unwavering commitment to his values, even in the face of career pressures, remains an inspiration. The changes in safety protocols and corporate accountability that followed his death have undoubtedly saved lives. Yet his story also challenges us to remain vigilant, to always prioritize human life over entertainment, and to never forget the real people behind the larger-than-life characters we see in the ring.